Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Um, yeah, it's a beautiful Saturday morning. So today we're going to talk about how the software determines where it's going to stitch based on the instruction you gave it. And the reason I think this is important is because earlier this week, I follow a lot of different groups. Earlier this week, I was in a group message and somebody was talking about those skippy looking lines that are in the embroidery that are on the screen when you're working. Good morning, Barb. So good to see you. Yeah, and they were wondering how to get rid of them. And there were all kinds of suggestions. There was a suggestion, well, just move your starts and stops. Just change your stitch angle. Just, hey, Doug, you having a good time out east? Doug's on the East Coast. He's a native West Coaster who has gone to the East Coast to for his daughter's graduation. And, of course, there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on, too. So, anyways, so that was the conversation, was how do you get rid of this line? In fact, let me just go ahead and put this up there. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see it. Hold on. Let me see if I can get... Can you see this right here? And then we have one here. And we have one here. So how do you get rid of those? Well, I'm here to tell you that you can't always. Yes, you can change stitch angles. Here. Let me just get my handy dandy trusty tablet pen. And let's go into our, come on, where am I going? I have no idea. Let's get into stitch angles. Right now, this is currently at a 15. What if we change it to a 10? Oh, sorry, that's not what I had in mind. Oh, it's going to be one of those days. I can see it now. Come along. Of course, I have new glasses, so you think I could see, but I can't. Where'd it go? So we're going to change the stitch angle to a 10. That didn't help, just made it worse. There's more and more and more and more and more and more and more. Let's go back to our 15, which is your standard. Some people like to stitch at 10, some are 9. Personally, I like a 15-degree stitch angle. Okay, so changing the stitch angle. Good morning. Good morning. So changing the stitch angle didn't work. Well, let's change our starts and stops. Nope, that didn't change anything. We're just moving our starts and stops all over the place. Y'all. Here's one that always works. What if we move our start and stop to be in the same place? Where's the stop? Oh, new glasses. Can't see a thing. There it is. What if we move the start and stop to the same location? Here, we'll take our stop all the way to the upper left-hand side. We'll take our start all the way up to the left-hand side. Did that do it? No. We still have some lining here. We still have some lining there. So why is that? Why is that? Well, that's what we're here to talk about today. Oh, that's almost better. Look, we only have a little bit here and a little bit here. Okay, so when your Software. You tell the software where you want the stitches, right? I want stitches everywhere this red stuff is. So I set up my my nodes where I wanted it. Okay, I confess, this particular piece, I did auto-digitize it, which means only just because I needed something quick, which means that it put some curves in there, and we don't want the curves. So I'm just going to get rid of those. Maybe that'll help take care of some of our issues here. Now the auto-digitizing almost worked for this because it was a lot of straight lines. Software doesn't have a problem reading straight lines. Okay, I'm going to lock our borders in place because I don't want to play with those. Lock the borders in place. Okay, now we have our glitchy line here and our glitchy line here and our glitchy line here. The reason those glitchy lines is because of the way the software calculates. Right now, we have instructed the software that we want to, and I'm just going to make a big X here, we want to start here and where'd it go again? Oh, it thinks this is all part of it. All right, start and we want to stop here. All right, that's what we're telling it. So what happens? The software says, okay, they want to start up here, they want to do all of this, and they want to end here. So what do I have to do to make that happen? Well, I have to lay my underlay, right? So we're going to go ahead and do a virtual stitch out. Can you guys see this okay? Should I change the color? Let me know. So we're going to do a virtual stitch out. We're going to start out really slow. And now it's going to do all the underlay. And did you notice, let me pause, did you notice that it did start up here in this corner with the underlay? And it's going to create our underlay. And now it's going to stitch downward. Because remember, we want to stitch all of this. And we're doing it at a 15-degree angle. So it's going to start stitching, stitching, stitching. And we want to end here. So we're stitching, stitching, stitching. Oh look, why didn't it keep stitching up here? Well, that's because we have a cutout here. And it has to stitch this. It's going to stitch everything that it can that's going to be connected. So stitching, stitching, stitching. And then from here, it's going to travel all the way up here because this part's got to catch up. So stitching, stitching. This little bit right here, it's got a break here. So it's going to have to stitch this little bit before it goes back up here. So you're going to see it travel. So down here, travel to that corner. Travel back up to the other corner, stitching, stitching, stitching. At this point, it's caught up. It's caught up with this section right here. But again, we've got all these breaks in here. So where's it going to go next? It's going to break, go down, catch up, travel to catch up, go down. Just a reminder, This is our end point. So if it continued to go up here, it has a couple of different things it could do. The software could go back up here and come down and a down and a down and come down here and then come up. Let's see which way it's going to go. That's exactly what it's going to do. It's going to do this one far arm way over here. Good morning, Jesse. And did you see that? From here, it jumped all the way down here because it needs to make this connection. Then it traveled. It's going to come back over here. We're going to do this part here. And remember our pinch. We had a pinch right here. Every place that you're stitching from two areas come together, there's going to be a pinch where the fabric snow plows into the other fabric. So right now we have fabric that has moved in this direction, and now we have fabric that is shifting up in this direction because of the stitching. And here's one of our pinches where these two lines come together. Here's our next pinch, because again, we have two pieces coming together. And because this is our end point, we still have all of this, we're going to travel back up here and come back down. And we traveled, and now we're coming back down. Oh, did you see that? There's a pinch here. Those two areas are coming together. And pinch, down, 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 and pinch. When you have a design file that is broken up like this, it needs to be one solid stitch out, but it has all these breaks in here. The software has to calculate how to cover all of that space from your particular start point to your particular end point. And that's why it travels. It travels to different areas. Now we're going to take this and we are going to try to move our end point. What if we move it? We have it way up here at the very upper left. What if we move the end point to the very down and right? Well, that's better, but we still have a pinch here because it's going to, oh, we have a pinch here as well, because it's going to stitch, then it's going to travel, and it's going to stitch, then it's going to come back up and travel and stitch and stitch and stitch until it gets down here. Shall we watch that? And we'll go a little faster. Let me get up here in case we need to pause. Again, we have to lay our underlay first. Fill, tatami fill. I use a tatami underlay. Okay, now here we go. Down, 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 down. Travel to the corner, come down, come together, hit another corner, and here, and travel, Got to catch up to this other side. We're going to travel again because we got to come up here. Oh, there's our travel. I see, and then it's going to take it as far down as it can to this point here. Travel. It'll take it down as far as it can. To this point here. Oh, we're going to take care of this back piece here. You see that? There's a pinch right there. Came back over here to pick up this. Because remember, this is our end point down here. And stitching, stitching, stitching. It'll fill up to here and then it'll come back over here and fill in this last leg. But we still have pinches. I see a pinch here. Not as serious as some of them we've seen. But there's a pinch here and a pinch and a pinch. And again, that is because you have two areas that are coming together. All right. One of the reasons you need to make sure that you have a good stabilizer for your fabric because the underlay, not only is it going to support your upper thread, it's going to lock your foundation to your fabric to minimize that shifting. It will shift. It's the nature of the beast. But we want to minimize that shifting, which is why we use stabilizer. Any questions on this? Let's see if we can't. I'm going to pop over to the internet here real quick. Let me find my handy dandy keyboard. And like I said, I'm going to pop over here. We're going to find a horse graphic. Oh, here's a good one. Copy image. Come back here to you guys. And and paste. Let's bring it to center. Let's bring it down in size. And then normally I would sit and digitize the whole thing, but since we're right here, then we're going to turn it into a tatami. We're going to get rid of the break it up. Let's see if we can't blend all this together, weld it together. There we go. I'm going to change the color. Going to enlarge it. That's too much. Okay. This is a typical silhouette of an animal. In this case, it's a horse, so we know it's got a fluffy tail. We know it's got a mane. Its ears are going to stick out. The legs. Regarding, wherever we place our stops and starts, let's get rid of some of this. Smooth the curves. That gets rid of some of the excess nodes here. So regardless of our starts and stops, we're going to have some pinch. We're not going to be able to get rid of it. Move my stop down here. It just moved the pinch. Change my angle. Again, it just moved the pinch. Hey, Diane. There are going to be cases that you cannot remove the pinch. Those lines. You make the best of it you can. Yes, you're going to change your starts and stops to try to accommodate this. Sometimes if you put your start and stop in the same place, it minimizes the pinch. Not in this case. Oops, we don't want that. Sometimes, oh look, we've minimized our pinch. We're only here in the tail now. What if we change our stitch angle? Can we change that? What if we move it down? We are still going to have a pinch. It's minimized. It's only this little bit, sorry, this little bit right here, but it's still a pinch. So I guess what I was trying to convey today, when you see somebody say, how do I get rid of this? You need to make sure that they understand, or at least you understand, that sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you just can't. You're going to make the best of it you can. You're going to change your stitch angles as necessary. You're going to change your stops and starts. You're going to minimize it as much as possible. But sometimes you just can't get rid of it. So that's about all I have today. What about you guys? Do you understand the pinch? Do you understand how it works, how the software makes a decision where it's going to stitch first, how it's going to path itself to get the job done that you've asked it to do? Let me bring myself up here because, you know, that's me. I'm going to wait here for a few minutes for your questions because, you know, there's a little bit of a lag here. But in the meantime, I'm going to talk about my upcoming class. I have a series of 3x3 classes, digitizing classes. I have 2 seats left. I'm keeping the class small to a group of 10 with 2 seats left. I'm excited. Our first class is going to our first 3 classes are talking about your tools, your running stitch, your satin column, and your tatami fill. You know, we're going to talk about tools and how they work and why they work the way they do. And then we'll go on to our next set of classes, advances from that. The other thing we've got going, the other thing I have going is I am setting up a virtual class for Virtual Applique Getaway. And I'm setting up 3 in-person classes for Everything Embroidery Group. I'm excited about all of this. It's bringing the last half of the year to a very busy close. Anything you guys have going? Any questions you have? Any announcements you want to make? What do we got going? Yeah, I'm gonna be at a loss for words here. Well then, I think we understand if you have any questions about this later, you know you can always reach me at quick2stitch quick2stitch@gmail.com, quick2stitch@gmail.com, or on Facebook. I have a couple of different groups I'm in. So, just pop off a message. All right, everybody. All right, we're going to make this short, just a few minutes short today. I'm going to say goodbye. Oh, holiday weekend. You guys, two thoughts. Not only do I want you to enjoy your holiday weekend, I want you to remember what this holiday is about. This holiday is about our fallen soldiers, our soldiers who have passed, whether in the line of duty or after they have been discharged, but they are so very important to all of us. Give some prayers for those that are still out on the battlefield, and honor those that have left us. That's just my way of acknowledging this particular day. So again, you guys all have a great holiday. I'm going to find my end and say goodbye. Fun? Do you have more questions? Do you want to learn something new? Join me at quick2stitch.com for coffee and conversation, and we'll talk about it. Embroidery machines, designs, and business. Hope to see you soon. Bye now.